Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Growth Capital Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Dixon, and today we've got Heather Rhyker on the podcast. She is the founder of a company called Refi, and Refi is an interesting platform that she kind of dreamed up 10 years ago, but finally is about to launch it officially in March of 2025. The platform effectively is more of a verified review of products by verified experts. So not getting all of the social media slop by influencers, but you're actually going to get verified reviews and verified experts talking about nutrition, fitness, and the list goes on and on. So we talk about her journey from having this idea and then taking her 10 years to really get it to the point where she was ready to launch and really go full bore about a year or so ago. We also talk about her journey with her husband, who had a passion and interest in something, but he wasn't sure what it was. Once she identified that this was her next step, he and her are fully in, and it's pretty awesome to hear about how they launched and how they're working together to build a business. So really cool conversation with Heather. So let's get Heather on the pod. Interested in hearing conversations with private equity leaders, CEOs of private equity-backed companies, and startup entrepreneurs where they share their stories about their career journeys, starting, investing in, and scaling successful businesses, and the important role that having the right talent plays in building a successful business, then you are in the right place. Welcome back to another episode of the Growth Capital Podcast. Here's your host, Justin Dixon. All right, Heather, thank you for being on the podcast. Happy to have you here.
I appreciate the time with you.
Awesome. Well, let's kind of jump in here. I guess give everybody a little bit of an overview of kind of who you are, where you are, and what you're up to right now.
In Austin, we're launching a new platform, so I'm excited about that. It's been a dream for the past 10 years, and so yeah, that's what I'm up to lately. But other than that, just trudging away at that work right now.
Got it. So talk a little bit about kind of this idea that you had for 10 years, and then what is your company, and maybe where are you in the life cycle of the company?
Yeah, 10 years ago. So let me get a little backstory because it's all part of the journey, and then
Yeah.
it all pieces together and it makes sense. I originally had gone in, I have a passion for art. And so I originally went into advertising. What better place to display your art? Turns out you don't get to display art in advertising. So I was in advertising. I know how to convey messages through images and words and putting those pieces together to deliver a story for people. And so I did that in marketing for a while. And through marketing, it led me to I actually was part of the first Verizon wireless launch back in the day when they first launched, and I enjoyed marketing and the strategy of it. But once I had kids, I started getting involved in the nonprofit space and helping families that were really struggling with getting their feet back on the ground, and they had gone through tragedies or traumas in their life, and it was at a homeless shelter. And so I would counsel them and help them set up job interviews and how to present themselves at a job interview, how to have an insight into like what they want to accomplish and their goals. And so helping coach them into life I loved it. And so I was in nonprofit for a while, helped with fundraising, financial, HR, management, stuff like that. And then eventually after that, I found that I love the coaching aspect of it, but there was something missing. And then after I had my first child, I started really diving into fitness. And I was not in a family that really knew fitness well in terms of nutrition or exercise. And I found that I had gained a lot of weight when I was pregnant with my daughter too. And I found that the nutrition and the training just came naturally. I had a passion for it. And I had not been in any sports when I was young and did no physical activity. I was not active at all. And so I decided to really give that a go and study it, because I just fell in love with how it made me feel, and I felt more alive than I ever did at any party when I was in high school. So I was like, I'm just getting
Got
into
it.
this. And over time, I realized that was really my just empowering people. It came together: the fitness, the nutrition, and the helping people feel empowered and chasing after what they wanted to accomplish in life. And so I became not only a personal trainer and nutrition coach, but also kind of like a leadership accountability coach, helping people set their sights and their goals in the ways that made them feel alive. And so that's just really been my passion. So 10 years ago, I had a client who was being recruited by one of the top modeling agencies. And she made it. She got signed. She's been on the cover of top magazine. She's been around the world. She's very successful. And while she was, I think she was in Africa, South Africa at the time, and she and I were talking about how difficult it was for her to find the best places to work out, what to eat,
Mm,
what restaurants to go to, what products to get when she was there. She doesn't know anybody. I thought there's got to be something there, because there's no platforms out there. And this is when apps were coming out. And so I just started formulating that in my mind, thinking of how useful it would be. And then I found that over time as well, there's platforms like Thumbtack and Angie and these other places where people can go to try to find experts in industries and get quotes from them. And a lot of those would charge like $130 per lead. And there was really only a 10% ROI on those leads. And they weren't benefiting the experts. And a lot of these people that would come on there looking for coaches, they had no clue that every single expert was paying so much. And then they would
right.
sometimes just be shopping around. And I thought, there's again, these tech companies are thinking about how can I drive profit, but they weren't thinking about these small, mid-sized businesses that are struggling with these marketing fees. So advertising to new people, trying to figure out the new algorithms for advertising online all the time, changing was difficult. I just wanted my word of mouth leads, but in a good, effective way. But also, my clients were getting really bad information online. Oh, I found this new diet trend. I found this new product. And half the time they were dangerous.
Yeah,
And
everybody's an expert when they get in front of a camera, right?
oh my gosh, the rise of influencers makes me want to throw up. And everybody's an expert. Everybody's an
Yep.
expert. And you'll have 20-year-old girls that are giving fitness advice and skin advice. And I'm like, you haven't even understood life yet. And so there's a lot of misinformation out there and dangerous trends. And so it just came together. And I really practice meditation, and you know in your gut and your spirit knows where to go. It's just we get so distracted in life. And it came together, and basically it's a content platform we're the only people that can post reviews, recommendations, tutorials, and education on products and services are verified industry experts. So if you're going on a social platform to find the best skin cream, you're getting the videos and the content and the reviews from dermatologists, estheticians, the people who know the product. And so you can rely on it. But besides just expert content, it also integrates your social connections. So if I want a good dermatologist, if I find a dermatologist on there, I see that already 6 of my close friends and family already trust that expert. So now I know I can trust that expert. So not only does it give you verified experts, it gives you the connection of your own personal network that you trust and combines them. So if you're looking for skin cream, you type in skin cream, you're getting all the experts in that category and the people you know personally that trust those experts.
Got it. So it's like a double verification, right? Where you get
Yeah.
the social verification from your friends and family that are maybe following or using, but then you also get the from the actual expert. They're a verified person on the other side of that screen, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. And you get that content from them so you can still be entertained, and you still get experts that you're maybe not even connected to. But we work off an algorithm based on interests, your
mm,
area, similar things that you're looking for. But if you are looking for a dermatologist, you're new to an area, you don't have any friends and family that recommend any dermatologist in that area, it can still collect the dermatologists in your area that are the most trusted. And so you can still find experts you trust. We still import all of those people, but you just don't have that personal connection yet. But the second you find one you trust, you mark that you trust them, and now everybody connected to you sees that you trust somebody, and now they know where to find someone. So it's an easy way to have that network effect build on itself. Plus, the second you send that you trust a certain expert, now they're getting an alert. This person trusts you, and now that person knows if they don't have a profile, oh, I want to build one. I already have a referral on here, and now all their friends and family can see me if I just do my profile real quick. And we
Right.
can integrate all your information and your social media feeds, so you don't have to upload everything all over again.
Got it. And so I guess first kind of question, I guess, where are you in the journey? Because obviously this has been a 10-year kind of journey for you to kind of go from kind of this ideation, and now you've got Refi, and I guess is Refi out there in the world for people to use, or where are you in that part of the journey of launching the business?
Yeah, I put it off for a lot of years because it's an expensive thing, and I just
Yep.
had that fear in me. Over time, that nagging, like, nope, this is for you. And every time I thought somebody's going to launch this, and why did I feel scared? Because that's actually what I wanted to use. And so I thought it's because it's mine. And so finally, I just took the leap. And so it was August of 2023. We started. My husband and I both finally just put everything we had into it and found an amazing development company that's full stack in design, branding, tech build, coding, everything. And he's amazing here in Austin, Walden Media Group, and they've built it out. So starting in August 2023, there have been holdups due to API integrations with Google and just the typical tech setbacks. But we are right now in the alpha testing. So we're testing it out. I have it on my phone. Bringing it up on my phone for the first time, it was like tears in my eyes of like, this is what I've been dreaming of. And,
Yeah.
visualizing it over and over every morning, and it's finally in front of me. And it was exactly how I envisioned it so many years. And I love it. And we're right now testing it, and then we're going to be launching beta here very shortly. We're finishing up with that API integration. And then we're doing public launch beginning of March. And so
Got it.
then it'll be available to everyone. And
And so
yeah,
there's a
we're
couple things
close.
I want to, yeah, no, there's a couple things I want to kind of tease out of that, because I think, you mentioned that this has been a 10-year journey, right? And you
Yeah.
had fear that you weren't, was this the right move? Do I go all in? And, when you become an entrepreneur, whether you're starting a services business or a tech business or a manufacturing business, there's a mental hurdle you've got to get over to start a business, right? There's a lot of inherent risk behind it. I guess, how did you kind of get or change your mindset and kind of get to the point where you were like, no, I'm going to go all in, and this is the direction that I'm going to go with my life for at least the foreseeable future? Like, how did you kind of get to that point?
It was an obsession for a long time. And so I knew, people die with regret all the time for so many things. This would be the one thing I would die with regret for not doing. And I knew that if I am on my deathbed, I can just like, I went for it. Like, even if
Yep.
it failed, I'm not dying with regret, because I now will never wonder, but what if I would have done it? Like, what changes could I have made? What could have been accomplished if I just did it? And so now, even though it's not even launched yet, I just feel so confident that I like jumping off a tower doesn't even sound scary anymore. Just risking your whole everything for something that could completely humiliate you one day to the public. I'm very proud of myself, and I do not regret taking that risk, no matter what. But it was the nagging on my heart. We all have that instinct of knowing what we're supposed to do, and it has been a journey throughout it, because, like, people ask me, what do you wish you would have told you? What do you wish you could have told yourself at the beginning, or what would you tell yourself when you were little? Nothing. I would
Oh,
not
interesting.
warn myself of one thing. I would not change one thing, because it's all led me to where I am right now.
Mm.
Every stupid decision I made, every crazy thing I decided to do and it failed, I wouldn't change one damn thing because I would not be exactly where I am today. And I actually am so grateful for the times that things were like bad or things like even like meeting with an investor and it just completely tanks. I botch it all up. I don't regret those moments because you learn in the bad things. You don't learn when everything's good. I
Yeah,
mean, you do, but you don't really like you do when things go wrong. And so it's the best lessons or the bad things that don't go the right way. And so I don't take those for granted and waste those moments to, all right, what did I learn in this? And how can I grow from it?
yeah, no, I think you can learn a lot in failure, and that failure could be, to your point, a bad meeting. You just kind of
Yeah.
botched the pitch, or it could be, your business fails, right? There's a
Yeah.
lot of opportunity to learn, and it's all about what you do next, right?
Yeah.
And kind of move forward. The other thing I wanted to pull out, and it kind of resonates a little bit with my journey of going out on a limb, starting a business, and having a very supportive partner, a life partner, support you in that journey and be along with it. So how did you and your husband kind of, I guess, set yourselves up to kind of go all in this business? Like, I'm just kind of curious kind of how the dynamics worked as you started to get more into, oh, this is going to be something that we do. This is going to be our focus. Like, how did that go?
That was magic too. He's my second husband. And the thing that really drew me to him originally was just he had this drive to just always
Mm,
just try to do better. And he wasn't like, the people that just kind of let things happen. And he was like, I'm going to make things happen. And so he had said for a while, ever since I met him, just he's in the oil and gas and he's a corrosion protection engineer, so he works
oh,
on like when they're putting in new pipelines or leases for oil or new electrical towers. He does the environmental protection of the ground and the whatever. It's complicated. Anyway, he knew that wasn't his life purpose. And he had said, I know there's something else for me on a big scale. I'm supposed to make an impact somewhere. I just don't know what it is yet, but I'll know it when it comes up. I just don't know what it is yet. And so he knew I was doing this on my own, trying to find a co-founder, trying to build this all out on my own. I was doing all the little things that were silly mistakes, but I'm grateful I did all these little things for a few years, probably like 4 or 5 years. I've been tinkering with it, putting it together. I have a file this thick of every page of the app drawn out.
mm,
And finally, when I told him about how, businesses get stifled by influencers or, held hostage saying, give me free products or I'm going to trash you online. I said, this gets rid of those influencers. This is just people who value the information and the content they bring to their customers. And I remember exactly where I was standing when he was standing. I was in the dining room. He was in the kitchen. We were talking through the doorway and he just stopped. He turned to look at me and he goes, this is a fucking disruptor. And I said, yeah, it is. And he's like, let's do this. And that's
mm.
when he was in it. And from that very moment, we have bigger visions on it being where people will go to find, like right now, if you want something quick, you go to Amazon.
Right.
We want to bring the people on that actually have an intention on getting the right products that they can trust. Because I'm messing up this figure, I'm sure, but it's 32 million metric tons of waste due to returned items. I
Yeah, it's
mean,
all that
if you've
fast fashion
seen,
stuff, right? Like
it's fashion stuff, but
everybody's,
that's just returned items. A lot of it is
yeah.
fashion, but it's quality and it's trusted brands, trusted products, trusted businesses that can help take a little chunk out of that. I'd be happy.
Yeah.
How many times have you purchased like a supplement and it tastes like shit? You throw it away.
Right.
So it can be from any product, any item you buy. You want to be able to trust it because it's wasted money. For one, $900 billion is wasted by small, mid-sized businesses from returned items
Mm,
or from fake reviews. I'm sorry, from fake reviews. So they're getting all these fake reviews. People are wasting money. an average person spends 2 hours per day researching a product to purchase online. We buy an average of 2 products online per day. So if we waste just one product's time of research per year, that's 30 days per year we're wasting in just trying to find the right product. And so there's such a need for it, of trying to search for something, that I see the big impact of this long term, and he sees the exact same thing. Like we see the exact same outcome of this, of changing the way people shop and trusting finally online, because you don't know if you're talking to AI bot, you don't know
Yep.
if you're getting information, you don't know who it is. And so I just want to bring trust online. Maybe that's because I'm, Gen X, and once upon a time you could trust an expert.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I guess, well, first of all, that's awesome that your husband is this was the light bulb. This was the thing that he was, that obviously what he was meant to do, and do it with you, which is super awesome to kind of do something together.
Yeah.
Um, Going to the kind of verification process, like obviously as you grow, it's easy, maybe air quotes, to verify like a dermatologist or something, because I'm assuming you can look up their
Yeah,
credentials
you can go
online,
one
or a
by one
doctor.
that way. Yeah.
I guess,
Um,
how do you, as you scale, like how do you like keep your platform, I guess, condensed enough that you're not oversaturated, and also that you can verify people, so that, because obviously this, I would imagine that if one person gets on the platform that is a bot or unverified, that it could damage the reputation. And so how do you kind of make sure that security up front of that verification process is as buttoned up as it possibly can be?
we're using AWS identification. So
Hmm.
you have to prove your identity through the camera and through identification. So, I mean, if somebody doesn't want to be verified, that's fine. They can go use Yelp.
Right.
But if they want to be on the platform known for its trustworthiness, they can make sure I mean, you do it for LinkedIn to get verified. You can do it for this. So we have that. We also have an internationally patent pending system of expert verification, because right now online, there's no criteria for what is an expert. And so, I utilize some of the ideas from Malcolm Gladwell. And so we have like a 5-tier level, and you can level up, kind of gamify your level of expertise. You have to have 3 of the 5, and that includes some sort of degree or certification in that industry, an award or recognition from a very high level verified expert. So if there is a doctor that is endorsing you as a pediatrician, that's an extra level on that tier. So you have the education, you have the expert endorsement or an award in your category. You have to have an online presence, because people need to be able to research you. So you have to have an online presence,
Yep.
a history of happy customers. So if you can show you have Google reviews, Yelp reviews, Thumbtack, Angie, like, here are customers that actually like me, and I have a good quality group of customers. And also, if you have a certain length of time within your industry.
Got
So
it. I
there
mean,
are
that's
some,
super interesting,
yeah,
because
there's
I
some
mean,
people that don't have degrees or certifications. You might have a master woodworker. He doesn't have a degree in woodworking, but
yep.
he has 30 years behind. He has hundreds of people who rely on him and trust him. He has like furniture makers that are like, this guy is the best. Clearly, he's an expert. So he
Yep.
doesn't need that degree or certification. But there's different categories. But right now we're focusing in wellness. So
Okay. I was
usually
going to
that
ask kind
comes
of
with
what
certification.
your area of focus was, because obviously, to your point, you just mentioned like some people are experts but they didn't go to school, they don't
Right,
have all these things, so they can still get certain levels of verification eventually, right? But
right.
health and wellness and fitness, you tend to need certifications
Yeah.
unless you're a 22-year-old influencer that lifted a barbell once.
Ding, ding,
So
ding.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
guess, just, I hate to get down in the rabbit hole a little bit, but like from a content perspective, are you, once somebody's verified, let's say I'm a nutritionist and I'm certified, I've got, articles and all this stuff, and so I hit your criteria. Um, but I've got a really awesome like Instagram, uh, account. And so do
Mhm.
you integrate with other social media platforms,
Yeah.
or as a person that's verified, do I have to create content specifically for Refi essentially?
Yeah, you have links to your social media on there. So if you have a TikTok account, which I don't know, nowadays people are like up in the air with that, but Instagram and stuff, you can integrate that in with it so you can post and it will be on that.
Got it.
Now, also, I did forget to answer the other question. Yes, as we build, it would be easy to go one by one to verify these experts. We have API verification, like third party verification systems and APIs from different companies that have the database of people that are verified in certain, like in certifications or degrees. So that's automatically integrated and brought in. So we can instantly verify that they're that. We have, quick instant verification of their identity. And then we have their ability to upload those other things so they can get that right away, temporary expert profile. So it will say anonymous for just a couple days because we don't want people to not post while they
Yeah.
wait. So they can start posting, and then the moment, which might be only like 24 hours, once that verification is complete, all of a sudden now their stuff is showing up and now they can continue actively using it. But it's going to be a quick turnaround.
Got it. Interesting. And then I guess, how does your business make money?
We are freemium, so everybody can use it for free. Like
Got
experts
it.
that are wanting to get leads from people that they don't have to pay for leads ever again. Businesses don't have to beg customers to leave reviews because now customers just mark that they trust businesses and experts. So asking for reviews is a pain in the ass, but it's freemium, so everybody can use it. But there's the Expert Plus and the Business Plus, and with those, it's $19.99 for experts and $39.99 a month for businesses. That is it. And what they get is that social media integration. They get data analytics on those that are trusting them, where they're, the area geographically where most of these people are coming from, what the common searches are. So they get more information on those people that are trusting them. They also have advertising access, and we're having advertising on it, but it's only for small, mid-sized businesses because right now it's hard for small businesses to compete against the big companies online.
Mhm.
But this is a platform for them. And so the advertising access, if they don't have the plus, they can't have access to advertising. And then we're going to build in other perks for them too, like highlight expert of the month or stuff like that.
Got it. No, it sounds fascinating. And so you said that you're launching this, trying to launch in March
Yeah.
of this year of 2025. And so I guess as you think about it, like what's the journey? Because a lot of people I have on when they're starting, especially technology, businesses, they've got to raise money and they have to, go out and pitch to investors and all this stuff. Where are you in that phase, or do you see that as your kind of next step in the process is to, get some traction and then have to raise money, or do you think you can self-manage this kind of thing as it grows?
Ideally, I'd love to bootstrap the whole thing and not have to worry about bringing investors in. However, yeah, we have raised friends and family and angels in this
Okay.
process so far, and also a lot of self-funding as well. So we're at about we're raising about 800,000 to get us to the milestone of being self-driven in terms of revenue. And at that point, we're raising 800,000 and we're close to 300,000, right about that, in so far committed.
Got it.
So we have
Awesome.
500,000 left to get us to being, ideally, we want to be self-funded at that point where we don't need to keep going after more investment. However, if we're growing so rapidly and we really need to build that infrastructure, then we'll go with another round. But I want to bring as much return to the first investors as possible. And it also protects our vision and the vision of those who believed in it when they didn't have proof in their hands.
Yeah.
I want them to really to be able to get rewarded for their faith in us.
Yeah, and the more money you bring in, the more investors you bring in, especially the more sophisticated ones, they're going to want to have some say in the business, right? And what happens, how it grows, where it grows, et cetera, et cetera. And so for you to keep it the way that you envision it, if you can bootstrap it after this kind of initial funding round, that's the safest way. But yeah, it sounds like you've got an awesome team, and you're kind of growing it from here, I guess. If somebody is sitting and listening to this, and maybe they've had the same nagging kind of feeling for the last, year, 10 years, whatever the time frame is, but they're maybe a little bit of more risk averse and not, ready to take the plunge. Like what kind of advice would you give somebody? I know you wouldn't change anything in your journey, but what kind of advice would you give somebody that is sitting here being like, I have this idea and it's like been gnawing at me for a year or two. And I felt that way before I started my business. But to take that plunge and to start the business and actually just go after it.
I've brought this up to other people before, and I said, all right, if I came up to you and said you were never allowed to chase that, how would you feel? And then I said, okay, now what if I told you, give up everything else and chase this? How do you feel? Weigh those two feelings out. Yeah. And that tells you everything. You know what you want to do. And like, do you see yourself like 60 years from now going, what if I would have done it? But you don't want to live with that. But our intuition tells us a lot, and if you want that confirmation that that's the area you need to go, just ask for that. Just put it out there and say, you know what, give me some signs that this is the direction I need to go. I highly recommend people do meditation. And even if you want to go from a very, very non-spiritual end of it, meditation gets you out of your amygdala and puts you more in your prefrontal cortex so you can think more clearly and less stress driven. So it actually gives you clear sense without the fear-based stuff that has been entrenched in you over the years from other people, the news, and everything else. Just get out of that space and just calm yourself, control your breathing, and just get in that space. You know what you want. Most people know what they're saying. That's why hypnosis works, right? It's digging into that space that's not being hijacked by fear and all that background noise. So it's just sit in it for a while and just ask for, hey, I believe heavily in quantum physics, and that energy is like the proof of just thought theory, how that can cause changes miles away. Just put that thought out there and see what comes back. And if you need just one extra little step, just ask for, right, what's the next step? See what happens. Give that a shot and see what happens, and then tell me some things didn't pop up.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I fall into and out of a meditation practice, and whenever I get back into it, I always feel better about it. Even though I'm not really good at it, I don't think. Like
there's no such thing as being bad at it. There's no such thing.
But I do think that there are things that I've kind of said to myself and said to my wife, and I'm like, I'm really looking for this, and then you realize, oh, why I either I had it and I just didn't see it, or there's people that enter your life, and so some people call it whatever you want, but it does work. It doesn't always work as fast as maybe you think it should or want it to,
or it looks different.
That's right. Exactly right.
Yeah.
You may have this like perfect picture in your brain of what you want, and then it comes to you differently, and you're like, oh wait, that's actually kind of what I wanted instead, or
or better.
So
it's usually better or the same. Yeah.
No, it's very.
And the other thing though too is like, and back to the investor thing, like I welcome as much information. So investors come with like big ideas, like here's a great idea. If it resonates, hey, I'm down with that. I'm part of a couple founders networks too. And the stuff you learn is amazing. So, but to that meditation point and knowing to go after things, meeting with the right people too, you start noticing that the right people come into your sphere, whether it's an investor, whether it's an advisor, whether it's just an idea or advice or a network around you, just things start falling in place. And that's why it's important to make sure where you're framing your mind too, because this is why people go through those spirals of negative mindset, because they're looking for the bad shit that's happening. And so that's all they're going to see. And then more stuff is going to happen based on that type of attitude and focus. But if you start looking at where are the things opening up, what's being brought to me now, what can I take advantage of, like in a good way, but what can I take advantage of and utilize and grow, you'll see those. And you're just moving forward now instead of just sitting in the same place, twiddling your thumbs, thinking miracle's going to happen while you sit on your ass. But find that next step and take it. And like every time I've done that, I've never regretted where I ended up.
Yeah, I definitely believe in the put yourself in a room with people that have been there and kind of been
Yeah.
more successful than you. And, I always try to, I joined an angel group here in Austin, and those people are obviously more successful than I am. And so you kind of just, if you start putting yourself around the same people that kind of have this death spiral and doom and gloom,
You're there with
you have
them.
no other choice, then your brain's going to start to think
Yep.
that way, right? But if you put yourself around people like founders, that's why one of the reasons why I love having, startup founders on here is because they're always super passionate about what they're doing. I never get anybody on here that's like ho hum about what they're building, right? Like you get a smile on your face and you start talking about it like it's your baby that you've birthed into the world, because it does take a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to start a business,
Yeah.
regardless of what it is. So
The
this has been
other thing
all,
that's
yeah.
important, though, sorry to interrupt, the other thing
No,
that's
you're fine.
important too is, and like you said, being in the room with those people, but how are you starting your brain? Like the first thing you pay attention to in the morning, if you're going to social media, you're allowing somebody else to dictate where your mindset is for the day. If you go to news, you're allowing someone else to dictate where your mind is going to be for the day. So I wake up at 3 in the morning and I start work though at 6. So from 3 to 6, I 100% focus on where I want my heart, my intentions, and my focus. Where am I putting that, and really focusing on that. So I do meditation for a minimum of a half hour every morning, but I pair it with Yin yoga, so I'm getting that movement
Mm,
with my body that helps me really relax.
yep.
I do journaling and I do my workout every morning, and then you include like getting ready and eating and stuff before I start working at 6. I don't allow social media or news or emails or anything to enter into that space until I have done my whole routine and my mindset is fixed. And I'll tell you, yesterday, my intention for the day was to radiate love. That was my goal for the day. I just want to radiate love today.
Yep.
I had 5 random people walk up and introduce themselves to me. I had another man that I see frequently at the gym who's I've never been close with him or anything. He's a nice man. Just walk up to me with open arms and just hug me. You set your intentions somewhere. You're putting yourself in a space. Like if you want to say, I am a strong, capable CEO, you say that over that, you focus on that. All of a sudden, you're presenting yourself with that energy, and people just pick that up.
Yeah. No, I definitely believe in, I set, every year I pick 3 words as my kind of words for the year. And one of them is
Oh, nice.
collaboration.
Yeah.
And so that's been my word, one of my main words for this year. And I was at a conference, and everybody that I'm talking to, they're like, oh, we can collaborate on this. Like that word just started coming out of people's mouths. And I'm just like, holy crap. Okay. This is kind of interesting. And so it is kind of just, you put out into the world, and sometimes it comes back, and it comes back faster than maybe you thought, like we talked about earlier. So
And even if you
I
wanted
could,
to chalk that up to your reticular activating system, just like, oh, it's you because you said the word, so now you're just recognizing it. Exactly. Now
right.
I'm
Well, it's the same thing.
recognizing it. If I
Yeah.
didn't recognize it, I wouldn't take advantage of it. And that is also where, if you just want to go purely science based, that still works out the same way.
Yeah. It's like you like, oh, I want to buy this car or whatever. And then you see that car all the places.
Yeah.
Like the cars were always still there. It's just like you're seeing them now. So,
Yeah. The
so
intention is
yeah,
everything.
I could definitely drive down this rabbit hole of
It's my
meditation and
favorite rabbit
yoga
hole.
and all that stuff. But I fear that we may get too off track, I think. But we can maybe talk about that at another time. This has been awesome to kind of learn about your journey, and the it's always fun to hear how people get to where they are now, right? Because the path was never the same. And so, I always like to kind of understand kind of how people start businesses and kind of create the idea and then let it manifest, and it becomes, it becomes a business. And so I congratulate anybody that has that ability to start and kind of take that plunge.
Yeah.
So thank you for your journey and for your story. I do want to end the call with a 3-pack of questions that I ask every guest. And so the first question here is, what's an influential book that you've read maybe recently, or one that you kind of reread that kind of is key in your life?
Do you mind if I share 3? One is a personal,
Absolutely.
one is a hybrid, and the other one's business.
Absolutely.
So personal, it would be The Alchemist. You familiar with The Alchemist?
I've heard of it. I've not read it.
It's great. So that would be personal. For business, Hooked by Nir Eyal.
Okay.
I've read that probably 5 times. It's how to build habit-forming products for good. And so I implemented all those strategies into this app. So I love that book. And as far as a hybrid, 3 Simple Steps by Trevor G. Blake.
Okay.
3 Simple Steps. It's a framework based on quantum physics of how to change your personal life and how to change your business life through quantum physics and creating that momentum and energy behind what you create.
Got it. Who wrote that book, 3 Simple Steps?
Trevor G. Blake.
Trevor G. Blake. Awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right. What is your favorite thing to do outside of work when you're not waking up at 3 a.m? I'm kind of curious what time you go to bed if you wake up at 3.
8, asleep by 9.
Okay.
So I get 6
Okay,
hours. Too much to sleep, I'm tired. Too little sleep, I'm tired. So 6 is my magic number. Well, I love working out. I've done it for a long time now. I love working out. I love being outside and in nature. Outside's where the magic happens. But I love puzzles too. Jigsaw puzzles. I just love putting things together. But I think it's also cognitive scaffolding. It helps you kind of compartmentalize all your thoughts and feelings and stuff and just kind of recalibrate and calm. So I love doing puzzles. And then there's another thing, but I don't think this is that kind of podcast.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I do like the puzzles or some type of game where you have to be fully engaged, because then your brain is not like, you're not like watching TV and looking at your phone and also thinking about what you should have done that day. You're like, nope, I have to be engaged in this activity.
Yeah, you can forget about all the stuff that you were trying to work out in your mind. It just silences it for a while.
Exactly right. Awesome. Last question here. Favorite vacation spot?
Puerto Vallarta. Okay. My husband and I got married on the beach there. We just love it. It's got a nice, it's tourists intermingle with native Puerto Vallarta residents, and it's just like a hometown feel. We love it there.
Got it. I've not been there, but I will.
I love it. We've been several times. We want to one day have a house there.
Oh, got it. Fair enough. Very cool. Awesome. Well, thank you for kind of being on the podcast, sharing your story. If people want to reach out, learn more about the app, more about your journey, what's the best way to connect with you? I'm on LinkedIn, Heather Rhyker, Rhyker. I am on Instagram, Heather Reffy. I can be emailed, heather@Reffy, REFFYY.com, or check out the website and reach out that way, Reffy, REFFYY.io. Awesome. We'll have all that stuff in the show notes so people can reach out. Heather, really appreciate the time. Really awesome story, and good luck as you progress into March and launching and all that fun stuff. So thank you very much. Yeah, and maybe when I get acquired for $4 billion, then you can have me on and I can finish the story for you. That's exactly right. I would love that. We'll set a date for maybe 2 years from now. I think that'll be enough time. My goal is 2030. Okay. Fair enough. Well, then we'll set the date and we'll chat in a few years. Thank you. All right. You have a great day. Thank you. Thanks. I hope you found at least one actionable insight from this episode of the Growth Capital Podcast, your one-stop shop for insights from private equity leaders, CEOs, and startup entrepreneurs on starting, investing in, and scaling successful businesses, as well as the role having the right talent plays in growing a successful business. It would be greatly appreciated if you would rate and review this podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe and drop us a comment so we can expand the audience of this podcast. Thank you for all your support, and don't forget about upcoming episodes dropping every Tuesday.